If you are a Nigerian in diaspora, does the name Agege bread rings a bell? Nigerians in diaspora are indeed trailblazers. Mr. Wale Rabiu has hit the ground running with Agege bread in Canada. Chairman CEO, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, visited the bread factory in Canada. Stick around for details. And a hardcore biometric system specialist, Mr. Kizito Ofunagoro, says Nigeria is an investment paradise. Details soon. And of course, do not forget our complimentary segment of health tips with AMPA doctors and our diaspora of the moment. This is your favorite show, The Diaspora, and I am Khadija Bamali, your anchor. Please stay. Mr. Wale Rabiu is a Nigerian bread maker in Canada. Let's take a listen to this interesting interview on Agege bread.
When we got to, in 2016, we realized that there was no one single Nigerian bread in the whole of Ontario. And if Ontario represents like more than 40% of Canada, so this is where the business opportunities are, this is where the people are, and there's no one single Nigerian bakery. The bread that people were eating were Ghanaian bread, very popular, and even to get it wasn't. So we saw a lot of gaps. Okay, distribution wasn't perfect. You have to drive, wait to get the bread, and immediately we just saw the business opportunity that. Then we now had another bit of research. We realized that the purchasing power lies with Nigerians. They were the one eating even the other breads, especially in the ethnic nationalities. So that was one of the, opportunities that we saw, and we started the bakery.
So obviously you found product market fit because there were people, there was demand for it, but you didn't have domain expertise in baking. So what were some of the key challenges getting this business?
I think that was number one challenge. We set up when I tell people the story that as of the time that we signed the lease agreement with the landlord in Brampton, there was no worker. Mm-hmm. Of course, I've shared it with a couple of people that at some point too, it was funding. I was meant to start with a partner because I was working. I've always been in the telecom. I spent 14 years in MTN Nigeria. I was a regional sales manager before leaving Nigeria, so it was easy for me to work at Rogers. I was managing one of the biggest projects at Rogers. So I wanted a side business, another source of stream of income. That's what pushed me into this. Then we realized that there was no worker, there was nobody to do the job. That's when I went back to Nigeria to learn, because I wanted to understand the business I would be putting my money into. And I learned, I came back, there was still nobody to work. But we were able to surmount that problem by taking advantage of the labor market impact assessment. That's the program that gives companies to bring people from abroad. So we applied and we brought 6 people from Nigeria, and they're working there. They're learning, and we keep telling them, do the job very well, develop yourself, have opportunity to go back home. You're not Japa, it's not Japa. I don't like the word Japa, because I believe when you come here, you must have plans to go back. You must have plans to give back. So engagement, and that's why in my stories, we still have to bring in Nigerian Diaspora Commission into it, because there's something I learned from the Nigerian Diaspora Commission, engagement with the Nigerian diaspora for the development back home. It's so much opportunity when we come around there. We shouldn't forget the fact that we must go back home. Whether in person, whether with our resources, there must be interaction between us in diaspora and the people back home. I actually took what was that thing called? Leave of absence from work to just see the opportunities, to see how I can grow the business. And within 30 days, I saw how we moved the sales. First month, we sold 2,675. That was the sales for the first month. So second month, it became about $8,000. And that's how it was growing, not even geometrically. We just thought, okay. So the moment that work, that 9 to 5 started disturbing the business, and people were telling, you don't need a prophet to tell you. When people that are in the market, on the streets, serving the people are telling you, no, you're not doing enough. And that was just all the push that we needed to face it fully.
That was an amazing story. Last question for you. 10 years from now, where do you see Grey Matlock Bakery?
This is it. Building a North American brand. We're building a business. We're not building a bakery. We're not building. See, 4 years ago, I told a guy where there's a company in Jeddah, they manufacture all the trays, crates for bread. And I told him that we'll be competing with the Wonder Bread, Dempster of this world. He said, well, good luck with that. I saw him again last year, and he told me that he has heard about the company. And that's what we're trying to do. We don't want to stay. And when we started, so people believe we're competing with the Ghanaian bakeries. And I said, no, we're not. We're competing with the best company in this bread business, in this pastry business. Those are the ones we're competing with. So we're building a business in the North America. You can see what we've done in 6 years. We started in 2018 March. So next year will be 7 years, March. So within 6 years, we have 2 offices, we have 5 franchises. We're going to open the 6th one in New Brunswick in the next couple of months. We're going to the US, and we have signed 2 different franchise agreements in the state of US. The third person came from Maryland a couple of days back. He actually bought bread, took it there, sold everything within minutes, and he said, no, we must open a franchise in Maryland. And Uche, you said something about Loblaw being the biggest. We signed a deal with Loblaw, so we can sell to any of Loblaw stores anywhere in Canada. And that's why and they have over 1,200. And we've only been in about 200 of those stores. So growth opportunity, and that's why some of the visions we had when we're installing this equipment here. What do you want to do with 50,000 of bread every day? I said no. We're not even where we're going yet. We continue to grow. We'll grow the much we can do within our space, we'll do it. But we're working with so many other partners, franchises to be everywhere we can be. So we're ready to share part of this with everybody. And we're interested to know that all of our franchises, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, even the ones in the US and in Brussels, they're all Nigerians. Mm-hmm. They believe in our business. And for you to go into franchising, pay a franchise fee, commit to royalty on a monthly basis, there's something you must say about the business, or you've known or you've heard about the business, that gives the confidence that you're not wasting your money, you're not throwing your money away. And that's what we're building. And I know in the nearest future, it won't be only Nigerians buying our franchises, it will be everybody that wants a taste of what is good that will be buying this franchise. Yeah.
On that note, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for blazing the trail. Now, biometrics are biological measurements deployed to encode and decode individuals' fingerprint mapping, facial recognition, and retina scans, among others. Mr. Kizito Ofunagoro is a hardcore biometric system specialist living in New York, USA. He is in Nigeria to give back his skills and expertise.
When I was very young, I was very curious. And my parents, they realized that I do have some talents, because then our TV would go bad, I would open it up, fix it up. I was about 9, 10 then. And then I would ask my father for money to go to electronic stores and buy some of these breadboards and resistors so that I can build some little bit of circuitry. So my father saw the whole potential. So he decided from then on that when it's time, I will be traveling to US. So it was around 18 or so, he decided I should go.
18?
Yes.
Wow.
So that's when I went to US. Unfortunately, when I get there, he didn't have the resources to directly put me into university. So I worked, some of menial jobs, and also I drove taxi. Eventually, I was able to enroll into university. One of the first universities that gave me admission was the College of Aeronautics, in New York. But they advised me that if I intend to go back, the country where I'm coming from, they do not have the facility to benefit from whatever I'll be learning from that, because I was studying aircraft design, and engineering. They said that unless if I plan to stay there, I said no. So I had to shift to some other university, which is City University of New York, where I studied management, information systems, which is almost equivalent to computer science then.
Okay.
So while going to school and working at the same time, I was able to do side contracting jobs with various businesses and hospitals. I will write code for them, make little money. So that helped me to spend less time driving cab and some other things. So I was able to put myself through college, through that whole period. And once I graduated, I wanted to further because my father wanted me to go further. So I applied for PhD, it's a program then at both, Columbia University and NYU. I was accepted at both, but I decided to pursue the NYU because they were doing something very interesting there in robotics. So so I went to do that and I joined. However, once I was admitted into the school, I was, distracted in a positive way because there were so many different things I could do. So for me, it was an eye-opener. So we're doing a lot of coding, spending so much time in the labs and robotics labs, and as at the time, NYU with some other universities, that was the time the U.S., the military was asking them to develop a new, programming, the languages. So they just completed, I believe, in 1990. So, but I went into NYU very early, 92, 93. So I became involved in that. So along the way, I learned lots of different languages. And however, after spending about 2 years in university, I found that most of the things that were teaching me, really, I could learn on my own. So I decided to drop out. But while in the school, I was also a teaching assistant. I was teaching other students. So they were basically paying my school fees because of that service. So I was in the PhD program. I told them I was dropping out. I told them why. So they pleaded with me to stay, that they need some people like me. Because around that same period, they have this National Science Foundation. It's a program by the U.S. government whereby they give some universities money to fund certain areas of research in technology. It could be medical, it could be engineering, it could be any area. And I was one of the students that was selected to participate in that program.
You have had these enormous skills and exposure and experience where countries that are not even your host country have benefited from these your skills and exposure. Was anything going around your mindset? Were you thinking that, man, these countries are benefiting from my skills? Your mind didn't cross your home, Nigeria?
I was always thinking about that, and I wasn't the only person. In the US, a lot of my friends who are professionals in many areas as well, whenever we're in a gathering, we were thinking about how we can come back home and give back, because that's what we call it. The problem is that most of us didn't have the platform to give back for a variety of reasons. Either the infrastructure is not well developed, or there are bureaucratic and political kind of hurdles. Some of us had the experience whereby they want to bring their resources, their funding, but they have to beg someone to accept that help.
Like you said, many of you are in the diaspora and willing to give back, but didn't have the platform.
Exactly.
Right? But now government has created that platform. And let me ask, how far have you been engaging with your home country as far as your expertise is concerned?
Okay, so my journey to here started 10 years ago. So I was looking for some opportunities to champion what they call digital transformation for government agencies or any businesses to the scale that they have in the Western world. I can engage the local, the talents and show them, the young ones who can learn very quickly, and show them this is what we can do. So on that line, I got involved with the police project. And since then, we deployed some data centers for them. And we've deployed applications for them, and we continue to deploy applications. We have a team of developers in this building who have created world-class applications for Nigerian police. And these are...
let me give you a handshake.
Thank you.
Good news to hear.
Thank you.
Right.
And these are, enterprise, applications that can rival anything that you have anywhere on the planet.
Anywhere in the world?
Yes.
Wonderful.
So, and we've demoed it to the police over time, and they give us their inputs. We continue to tune it up to their taste, so that we don't want to change the way they work. We want to adapt to the way they work, so that it becomes a lot easier for them to embrace.
Right.
So this is what we've done, and we're trying to see if there are other agencies.
Right, I was going to that. I said, thinking of expanding the scope and the structure to ensure that other agencies can adapt, improve their data, and also the cry for AIs, robotics, and all that.
Yes. One of the biggest, the challenges is the talent pool. We are always advertising for some developers. For every 25, maybe 100 applications we get, if we're lucky, we're able to hire just 2 people. Because you want to make sure that the individuals you bring in, they have sufficient exposure in the area, so that now they have the capacity to absorb whatever you're teaching them. If not, they're going to drag. Because then instead of spending a year or so to train them, you spend 2-3 years, and we don't have that much time. So we have a way of filtering for the people. So we are always looking for people here, but we've not been able to get to the capacity we need. But we're still hiring, as a people, the young talent. We even hired some individuals that did not even graduate from universities. They are still students, but they are working for us full-time, doing their schooling kind of part-time.
Yeah, so but you know that systems application like this, it's this part of the world is developing economies are not fully grounded here.
Yes.
So are you not thinking towards where you have a talent hunt, a young adult whose brains are still very active and hot to grab into this new trend of robotics and systems application?
Yeah, the thing is that before you engage in anything, you have to have a buyer for that product, because that's where the funding comes in. I've decided to come back here and help the country grow my part of expertise. And I have no intention of abandoning that at all. So my intention is to grow a lot of people who can actually do the kind of things I'm capable of doing. Because if we have a whole lot of them, then the impact will be huge.
Many thanks, Mr. Kizito, for always thinking back home. We take a short break. Don't go anywhere. Keep watching the Diaspora. And now, our health tips with the Association of Nigerian Physicians in the Americas, AMPA Doctors.
I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about health and wellness. Health and wellness is also performed by identifying and treating disease, but also by promoting health by healthy practices that you can perform on your own as an individual without necessarily going to see your physician. These include, number one, maintaining a healthy weight. A healthy weight, as calculated by your body mass index, is your weight in relation to your height. For instance, somebody who is 6 feet should or could weigh the same as somebody who is 5 feet if that person is overweight. So for every weight, there's an expectation where your weight should be that is a healthy calculated weight. And this is determined by the chart, which also could be determined by an app. A healthy weight is usually a body mass index under 30. Between 26 and 29 is ideal. And as you go further along the chart, you're noted to be overweight, obese, and or at a higher spectrum of abnormal. It's important to be able to maintain your body mass index right at a healthy weight and also not be at a lower weight, which is also not noted to be healthy. To do this, it's important, number two, to maintain a healthy diet. It's important to understand that your diet is made up of different types of food, including carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And to be able to have a healthy diet, it's important to balance the different kinds of foods in proportion. For instance, don't have a food that is heavy on carbohydrates, such as rice, cassava, yam flour, swallowed food, fufu, semovita.
Now to our diaspora of the moment, with Shalewa Ajila presenting.
Our diaspora of the moment is Miss Ifeoma Amuche Gladys. Miss Ifeoma studied Library and Information Science at Federal Polytechnic Oko, where she bagged Ordinary National Diploma. She also attended Confucius Institute, Oko, where she first studied Chinese language for 2 years between 2017 and 2019. She worked in Dangote Refinery, Lagos, as a Chinese translator for a year and later worked at Sunoki Limited, Abuja, as a secretary and Chinese translator. Ifeoma arrived in China in 2019 and she first enrolled at Southeast University before proceeding to International College Southwest University, Chongqing, where she studied Chinese language and literature and graduated as the best in her class and in her school. Ifeoma not only mastered the language, but also excelled in Chinese literature and culture, earning her the Best Graduating Student Award out of over 9,500 graduates. She was not only academically outstanding, but also actively involved in various activities and competitions. She joined the International Student Poetry Performance Club and contributed to the group's win of the 2022 Arts Festival Poetry Reading Prize, surpassing 25 countries. Ifeoma is an inspiration to many young Nigerians who aspire to achieve excellence in their chosen fields. Congratulations, Ifeoma Amuche Gladys. We celebrate you as our diaspora of the moment.
This does it for the diaspora this week. Keep a date with us next week. I remain your anchor, Khadija Bamalu. Stay positive.